announced the launch of Revival Today Church.
Everybody that God ever made a covenant with in the Bible, He turned land over to them. The first gift God gave man was land, the Garden of Eden. The thing the devil tried to keep from the Israelites was land. God made a covenant with Adam, gave him land. God made a covenant with Noah, gave him land. God made a covenant with Moses, gave him land. God made a covenant with us. He's going to give us the whole earth. I don't care how high the walls are. I don't care how tall the giants are. If the Lord is with me, it'll be as it said. The giants are meet for us. The walls will fall. We shall possess the land. You shall possess the land. Your children shall possess the land. It's not going to be a cycle of failure. It's going to be cycles of victory.
Why should you come to RTBI? The education that you're going to experience here is like no other. You're going to get a solid foundation on the Word of God, but you're also going to be exposed to the power that comes behind it.
I was listening to Pastor Jonathan's sermon, and at the end of the sermon, he gave an altar call for those that feel a call into full-time ministry.
I decided to act and move and apply, and I got accepted, and I can assure you that this Bible Institute has taught me so much. They teach you the Bible and they teach you the true, full gospel.
The fire of God is coming upon teenagers, college students that say, I don't care about the approval of Viacom and MTV and the movies. I've made up my mind. I'd rather endure the shame and disgrace of this world and have the pleasure of God.
And on that floor, I cried and I said, Lord, I know that you hear me. And the Lord spoke to me and said that if I won't move here because of fear, I will never go to the nations, because how much more will I yield to fear then? And in that moment, I knew that my life isn't going to be ordinary. In that moment, I knew that it was up to me how far I'm going to go with God, and that it's up to me if I'm going to make this decision. It changed my life forever.
First, I'm going to be strong in the Lord and the power of His might. So congratulations again for being what's right with America. There's enough principled people full of God's fire in this room to shut down every plan of the devil for this generation.
You'll do what God's called you to do and be who God's called you to be for the rest of your life.
Myself completely crippled.
4 surgeries, trying to heal a detached retina.
I can't eat. 4 years of this pain and throwing up.
In 2017, we had found out he had a tumor.
They wanted to do an operation because I had 90% block or 80% blockage in my heart. And I didn't want them to do it because they tried killing me the first time they tried doing that, putting in a stent.
I was born with muscular dystrophy, a rare form. There's 43 different forms, and mitochondrial disease, which is a genetic defect in every cell of your body.
But that man has not had a breath without assistance in over a decade.
Blood disease, liver disease, kidney disease, any disease, they brought unto him all the sick. And no matter what their sickness or what their disease, he healed them all.
He left here, took the oxygen off of his nose.
I looked at her and said, I can see all those holes.
Air test, and they said your respiratory function is above anything that we can imagine.
It was the last day that I used a walker.
Yes, I just believed it, and it happened.
Just his words were so powerful. It just moved me.
When you touched me, it felt like when they gave me the injection with the stuff to go through to see what the arteries would block. It just all ran through, just hot as it could be.
And he saw that the tumor was gone. Completely gone, there's nothing there. The tumor looks like it's healed. The bone looks completely healed, like nothing was even there. There was no surgery that ever happened or anything on that bone.
You've already won the victory. Hallelujah. Shout it out. I've already won.
The Bible said, not just to ministry gifts, he said to all disciples, when you go and preach, heal all their sick.
That the blood of Jesus has remitted my sins.
We're living in the final hour of the last days. You don't have to finish how you started, and you don't have to end up where you are right now.
I would turn on the 24-hour broadcast and just stick it under my pillow at night. It was screaming faith and building faith in me.
Downloaded his app, Bible Today app, and I watched that whole week and learned more in that week than I had from anybody else in a long time. It touched me, and this ministry has changed our life.
I turned on Daystar on my husband's day off, and we're watching, and Jonathan came on. And when he came on, it ignited my spirit and my faith.
That's why I'm setting my faith that these next 5 years, the fire of God will burn through this nation. From Boston, Massachusetts to Maui, Hawaii, from Wasilla, Alaska, down to Laredo, Texas, the devil's not going to have this generation. America shall be saved by the power of God. If you stand with me on that, give Jesus a hand clap. Let the devil know that he has some opposition.
Coming to you from Main Street, America, Steel City in the heart of Rust Country and the home of industrial titans like Carnegie and the Mellons. We are bringing you market analysis, news, and everything you need to know about the economy and investing. Live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's Check the Market.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Check the Market. Little Morgan Freeman for you there. We're able to get him to do a voiceover. D&D Investments from Portland, welcome. Chanel, good morning. Maria, Ninja, Fernando, Logan, welcome everybody. Welcome to Check the Market. Akeem from Zambia in the house. How's it going? We're going to be talking about TruthGPT and AI today. Going to get into some AI stocks, what could be some good investments potentially on AI, for AI. Nikki, Mike, top of the morning to you. Infinite Solutions, good morning. Charles, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you share the broadcast. Z, how's it going? Good to see everybody this morning. Thanks for joining me as we dive into the markets here a little bit today. See what's going on. Yesterday was a good day. Last week was pretty good. We ended up higher on the week. And yesterday was pretty good. Pre-market looking like it's pretty good. We got some bank results that came in yesterday. We had some health stock results that came in that are driving the market a little bit higher today. All right, and we've got some articles on AI. Let's go ahead and take a look, see what's going on there. Oh, let's take a look at this first. So Bank of America, shares gain after first quarter results top expectations on higher rates. Let's see it. Bank of America on Tuesday reported first quarter earnings and revenue that topped expectations on the back of higher interest rates. Can we turn the music down just a little bit? Here's what the bank did compared to Wall Street estimates according to Refinitiv. 94 cents per share versus 82 cents per share expected, and 26.39 billion versus 25.13 billion expected. The bank stock rose more than 2% in pre-market trading following the results, Bank of America said its net interest income, what it makes lending money minus what it pays out to customers, jumped 25% to $14.4 billion during the quarter, thanks to rising rates. Every business segment performed well as we grew client relationships and accounts organically and at a strong pace. Now, there is a little bit of a caveat to this because accounts grew organically. Bank of America is one of the largest banks in the United States. And so when all those banks were collapsing, a lot of people took their money out of smaller banks and put them into banks like PNC, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citi, banks like that that are considered too big to fail in quotation marks by the US government. So they did grow accounts organically, but I think some of that also had to do with the banking crisis and them being too big to fail, and so customers moving their money into banks like that. Let's keep going. John says, I got 2 pit bulls. Their names are Timex and Rolex, and they're both watchdogs. It's a good dad joke right there. Love it. Its non-interest income increased by just 1% to $11.8 billion as higher sales and trading revenue offset lower service charges and declines in asset management and investment banking fees. We delivered our 7th straight quarter of operating leverage. We further strengthened our balance sheet and maintained strong liquidity. Moynihan said, Bank of America set aside $931 million for credit losses in the first quarter. The bank said net charge-off remained below pre-pandemic levels. Sales and trading revenue gained 7% to $5.1 billion in the quarter. Revenue from fixed income, currency, and commodity trading increased 27% to $3.4, while equities trading revenue fell 19% since people are taking their money out of equities and putting into fixed income. Thank you, Patrick. Continue. Goldman Sachs, however, misses revenues estimates after taking $470 million hit on Marcus loans. Let's see it. Goldman Sachs posted first quarter profit on Tuesday that missed analysts' expectations for revenue after taking a $470 million hit tied to the sale of consumer loans. They did beat on earnings per share, $8.79 versus $8.10, but revenue they missed, $12.22 billion versus $12.79. The bank said profit fell 18% to $3.23 billion, topping the estimate of analysts surveyed by Refinitiv. Revenue fell 5% to $12.22 billion, below estimates on the consumer loan hit and weaker than expected bond trading results. Shares of the New York-based bank slipped 3.6% in pre-market trading. Unlike its more diversified rivals, Goldman gets the majority of its revenue from Wall Street activities, which has been down. Continue. JP Morgan and Citigroup beat first quarter estimates in part because of better than expected fixed income trading. Goldman traders didn't fare as well. Fixed income trading revenue fell 17% to $3.93 billion, roughly $230 million below the estimate on lower activity in currencies and commodities. While investment banking revenue remained weak, falling 26% from a year earlier to $1.58 billion, it was better than the $1.44 billion estimate. So Goldman not doing so well, Bank of America doing fairly well. We're going to have some more earnings today after market. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Johnson & Johnson beat their earnings, so that's pushing the market a little bit higher as well. This morning, futures are Dow futures up around 28, S&P up 18, and NASDAQ is up 93, or 0.7%. The NASDAQ having the biggest gain there pre-market. Akeem says, to be honest, the dollar dropping is really just doing us good over here. When it's high, things are really expensive. That is true. Across the world, a weaker dollar means that those other countries have more purchasing power when it comes to the dollar. Continue. Jonathan, I'm going to get into that today as well. There could be a potential for a little bit of a bull run since everything else is, basically in a bull run is what we are right now, in a little bull run. We can go to the next article. Stock futures higher after Bank of America, Goldman Sachs earnings. Let's take a look at what's moving markets today from Yahoo Finance. U.S. stocks futures bumped higher Tuesday amid another busy slate of corporate earnings, including from Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. Before the market opened, futures tied. We just went over that. Government bonds were lower. Yield on the 10-year note slid to 3.572, while the 2-year note slipped to 4.16. Continue. Keep going. As earnings season kicks into full gear this week, the headliners Tuesday morning were the big banks. Bank of America posted better than expected first quarter results. Goldman Sachs missed. Bank of New York Mellon beat first quarter profit estimates on Tuesday, benefiting from rate hikes as it boosted the lender's interest income, which is the difference between what the bank earns on its loans and pays out on its deposits. Stocks closed higher Monday, reversing earlier declines during the trading session as earnings season kicked into gear. Continue. The biggest gainer was M&T Bank Corporation, up 7.8% after beating expectations on revenue and profit for the first quarter. The picture was different for State Street Corporation, which was down over 9% after reporting a 3% decline in net interest income in the first quarter. More earnings are on deck this week. First Horizon, Western Alliance, United Airlines, and Netflix are due after market close on Tuesday. Be interesting to see what United Airlines does, how travel has recovered. And then Netflix, be interesting to see what they do, if they're gonna... Did they already roll out their ad-based thing or not yet? Do you know, Ben? Not yet. Continue. On the economic front, housing starts, existing home sales, and mortgage rate and application data are slated to be reported this week. The data could provide investors more insight on the back of a slightly softening rate environment. I did read an article this morning that it looks like they won't be raising rates. That's what the market is telling us, that there's a low chance of them raising rates again. Separately, Richmond Federal Reserve President Tom Barkin, a non-voting member of the Federal Open Market Committee, which set interest rates, said on Monday he wants to see more evidence that inflation is settling back to our target and that the labor market has moved from red hot to merely hot. Several Fed officials are expected to speak this week, and market participants are waiting to see if they'll sound a similar tune ahead of the Fed's blackout period, which starts on Saturday. Continue. Continue. We're going to get into Nvidia here in a second. They keep climbing there. Since the beginning of the year, I believe they traded around 175. They're now at 270. This is due to AI and the chips that they create for the AI boom that we've seen here in the last couple of months. Continue. Here we go. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into some AI today. This is one of the biggest questions I've been getting over the last couple of weeks is, what are some good AI stocks to invest in? Is ChatGPT traded publicly? They are not. They are not traded publicly, but there are some opportunities that you can take when it comes to AI, and so we're going to be getting into those today. In an interview with Fox News host Tucker Carlson on Monday evening, Elon Musk discussed the potential threats artificial intelligence poses to humanity. He expressed concerns over AI chatbots being developed with liberal bias and shared plans to create a non-woke chatbot. Musk was an early donor of OpenAI's chatbot ChatGPT and expressed concerns over the direction of AI development. He told Carson that large language models were being trained to be politically correct. I'm going to start something which I call TruthGPT, Musk said, or a maximum truth-seeking AI that tries to understand the nature of the universe. Very interesting. Continue. Musk also advocated for the regulation of AI. He said AI is more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production. It has the potential of civilizational destruction. Terminator style. In February, Musk tweeted, what we need is TruthGPT. Musk told Carson that Google's Larry Page once told him about plans to build a digital god. I think we actually have the video. Let's see it.
Back when it was a nonprofit?
Yes. I mean, the reason OpenAI exists at all is that Larry Page and I used to be close friends, and I would stay at his house in Palo Alto, and I would talk to him late into the night about AI safety. And at least my perception was that Larry was not taking AI safety seriously enough.
What did he say about it?
He really seemed to be wants sort of digital superintelligence, basically digital God, if you will, as soon as possible.
He wanted that?
Yes. He's made many public statements over the years that the whole goal of Google is what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence or artificial superintelligence. No, and I agree with him that there's great potential for good, but there's also potential for bad. And so if you've got some radical new technology, you want to try to take a set of actions that maximize the probability it will do good and minimize the probability it will do bad things.
Yes.
It can't just be hell for leather, just go, barreling forward and, hope for the best. And then at one point, I said, well, what about, we're going to make sure humanity's okay here. And then he called me a speciesist.
Did he use that term?
Yes. And there were witnesses. I wasn't the only one there when he called me a speciesist. And so I was like, okay, that's it. Yes, I'm a speciesist. Okay. You got me. What are you?
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm fully a speciesist. Busted. So that was the last straw. At the time, Google had acquired DeepMind, and so Google and DeepMind together had about 3/4 of all the AI talent in the world. They obviously had a tremendous amount of money and more.
So that's what Google is planning. That's what a lot of these companies are planning, to create a digital superintelligence. Now, I know this sounds crazy, so bear with me. But, I've read some of these articles about what AI's end goal is, and AI's one of their end goals is to be able to download a human conscience, if you will, and put it into a robot or something like that, so that after you die, you basically can download your conscience and put it into a robot. So basically what it is, an end goal for a lot of this is to achieve immortality, basically, which is, it's kind of crazy, but they're moving forward. They're moving forward with a lot of this artificial intelligence stuff, and we are now seeing, the beginnings of it. Google, I believe, is behind on it. ChatGPT, they're doing a good job. They're integrating with a lot of different companies. They integrated with Microsoft, and I have seen that Bing searches are now more accurate for me than a lot of Google searches, and they're bringing me more of, what I want to see. And so I believe that might take a chunk out of Google if they don't hurry up and get their AI thing going. They had whatever their AI thing is called, I forget what it was called, but they had a launch of it and it failed miserably, and so that didn't look well for them. I know, right? A speciesist. Yeah, we want the human species to survive. I believe we're all speciesists. Continue. HSBC says this chip maker's incredible AI pricing power is not fully priced into the stock. Let's see it. No, for real. It is, listening to that interview, it does sound like something out of, a science fiction movie that they're moving forward on. It's kind of crazy. All right, so Nvidia create chips, and they've been doing extremely well this year. Nvidia shares can extend their 2023 rally once the chip makers' growing artificial intelligence business is fully appreciated by Wall Street, according to HSBC. Frankly, the firm's head of technology research in Asia double upgraded the chipmaker's stock to buy from reduce. Lee also more than doubled his price target to $355 from $175. His new price target implies an upside of 31.5% over Monday's close. We believe there's more earnings upside versus market expectations in fiscal year 24 and beyond, he said in a note to clients. Overall, we believe we were too cautious on Nvidia. Shares rose 2.2% in the pre-market. The stock has surged 85% this year, outperforming the technology-heavy NASDAQ composite, 16.2% advance. Continue. So there's Nvidia, year to date up 85%. Then you have the S&P right there. Continue. That rally has made some previously question whether the stock has further upside, but the analysts say there's much more to go. Nvidia's incredible AI pricing power is not fully priced in. The analyst noted that artificial intelligence will provide a significant boost prices as AI chips are between 10 and 20 times more expensive than the average price of a typical graphics processing unit for gaming, because these AI chips are so much more expensive. Lee said the company does not need to see much of a volume increase to meet revenue growth expectations. A potential downside risk to earnings in 24 from a slowdown in data center momentum drove earlier pessimism, according to Lee. Given that 60% of the company's sales comes from this business, the company has seen downside to server growth expectations, while he said investors now debate whether there could be future revisions to the business outlook going into the rest of 23. There's also rising inventory, which has been a concern for a lot of companies. Continue. I agree with you, Judge. Be hesitant to buy stocks at all-time high. But AI is moving full steam ahead. Slowing demand growth from wafer orders related to semiconductor maker TSMC was also an earlier cause for concern, but he said the changes between company revenue and wafer orders could instead be taken as a sign of the company's business model changing to meet the moment within AI. He said the AI business should be able to more than offset weakening data center demand, and Wall Street was too focused on the later before. Lee also pointed to the fact that the majority of the inventory build-out is related to AI chips, which should help mitigate any issues related to this oversupply. On eBay, they have been selling these AI chips, and they've been going for about $40,000 a pop. So people that have been getting their hands on them have been selling them on eBay for $40,000 for one chip. Continue. There's Nvidia, now has 48 buy ratings. Highest price target 368. Lowest 190. We acknowledge we underestimated the potential of Nvidia's AI business and the speed of ramp up post Microsoft ChatGPT launch. We believe the motivation to adopt more generative AI, especially both in China and the US cloud service providers, has exceeded what we initially thought. And there's a lot of companies that are getting into the AI space, and Nvidia is one of the companies that is going to benefit from this. Continue. So here are some AI stocks to watch as big tech braces for artificial intelligence regulation. Wall Street analysts are racing to tout the best artificial intelligence stocks amid a surge in investor interest. On company earnings calls, management mentions of artificial intelligence have jumped. If you're looking for the best AI stocks, it's a good time to be cautious. Continue. Up, markets open in 5 seconds. Let's see where they open here. And they're open. Ding, ding, ding. Dow. Give me 1 second to refresh here. Dow Jones down 14.72 points. For now 4 points. S&P is up 15.35 points, 0.37%. The Nasdaq is up 0.63. Oil is, let's take a look here. Oil is down slightly today, just by 1 cent though. It might have not adjusted. Gold is back up over $2,000, $2,010.40, and silver is up over $25. Let's take a look at cryptocurrencies real quick here. Bitcoin is at 3323.63. Ethereum 2109.79. XRP's up at 52 cents. Cardano 47 cents. Dogecoin 9.3 cents. Up 2.99%. Avalanche is up at $21, over the $20 mark now. Shiba Inu is at 0.000012. Shiba Inu, I saw some interesting news on them that they are about to launch their metaverse later this year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. All right, let's get back into the article. In general, look for AI stocks that use artificial intelligence to improve products or gain a strategic edge. Also be on guard against poor-performing companies that suddenly call themselves leaders in AI technology. Further, AI technology uses computer algorithms. The software programs aim to mimic the human ability to learn, interpret patterns, and make predictions. The newest forms of AI generate content. Meanwhile, there's growing concerns over AI's potential social, economic, and security ramifications. The top artificial intelligence stocks to buy span chip makers, enterprise software companies, and technology giants that utilize AI tools in many applications. So here are some of the best AI stocks: Amazon, Microsoft, Google. They're hiking spending on artificial intelligence. Despite investments, Apple has lagged in the chatbot technology. So Apple hasn't got into it, but Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are going full steam ahead when it comes to artificial intelligence. And out of those three companies, I believe personally that Microsoft is leading the pack. Continue. Meanwhile, big inflows into the Global X Robotics and Artificial Intelligence ETF, BOTZ, B-O-T-Z, have occurred in 2023. Chipmaker Nvidia at its GTC conference announced a wide-ranging portfolio of AI products, including new graphic processing units, data center hardware, AI software models, and AI as a service. Nvidia's stock belongs to the IBD leaderboard. It's IBD's curated list of leading stock that stand out on technical and fundamental metrics. That's Investor Business Daily. Microsoft continues to leverage its strategic stake in OpenAI as it aims to take on Google's internet search and office productivity tools. Meanwhile, OpenAI in March launched its next generation chatbot technology. So Microsoft is taking a chunk there out of the search. I don't know if I sent the article, we might be going over it a little bit later, but Samsung just dropped Google as its main search engine. So you can, put whatever search engine in that you want. And Google was considered a company that had a great moat. I think it still does, but if they lag in the artificial intelligence area, I don't know if they will be able to recover from that long term. Meanwhile, OpenAI in March launched its next generation Patrick, get it right. Chatbot technology. There we go. It's called GPT-4. The new language model is a multimodal. That means it accepts text, speech, images, and video as inputs. Continue. In addition, OpenAI's ChatGPT is only one of many generative AI technologies that could roil a host of industries by creating text, images, video, and computer programming code on their own. Generative AI technology already is finding applications in marketing, advertising, drug development, legal contracts, video gaming, customer support, and digital art. Key to the rise of generative AI are improved natural language processing models that help computers understand the way that humans write and speak. OpenAI is part of the wave of NLP startups that include AI 21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, and others. Anthropic has introduced a competitor to ChatGPT called Claude. Amazon's cloud computing unit announced Bedrock, a new service that enables customers to build and scale generative AI-based applications. Amazon Web Services provides an AI-based programming tool. Amazon Code Whisperer, Amazon's own foundation models are available, as well as those from AI 21 Labs and Anthropic. Continue. Artificial intelligence stocks span chips and software. As software companies integrate generative AI tools into products, their customers will spend more on software. Said a Goldman Sachs report, generative AI will add an incremental $150 billion to the current global software market of $685 billion. Meanwhile, Adobe, so that's another stock that is using AI. Adobe on March 21st unveiled generative artificial intelligence services for creative professionals and marketers. They include Adobe Firefly, a new family of creative generative AI models focused on initially on image generation and text effects. Companies who don't truly embrace generative will see their multiples compressed by 50% over the next 5 years. We believe every technology company needs a strategy to truly embrace generative AI, otherwise they will be left behind by those that do. The report went on to say not only will these companies see market share losses over time, but they will also see multiple compression as investors lose confidence in the ability of those companies to be future-proof. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there with Adobe and how they're going to do that, because there's already a couple of AI websites where you can input different terms and it'll create an image based on that. And so Adobe is going to be integrating that into their software. So Adobe ADBE is one to take a look at for artificial intelligence. Continue. The generative AI wars are heating up in marketing. Salesforce on March 7th rolled out Einstein GPT, which adds OpenAI's features across its software platform. Pilot technology will be available first on its Slack messaging tools. Salesforce has used predictive AI tools since 2016. So CRM, Salesforce also leading there. Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Barclays tout chipmaker Nvidia and Arista Networks, ANET, as top AI stocks. So Nvidia, NVDA, and ANET, internet data centers will need more computing power and network bandwidth to process AI workloads. We see ChatGPT and the surging AI use akin to the 2007 iPhone introduction that expanded the mobile landscape and use cases for consumers and businesses. Barclays also picks Sprout Social, SPT, Sprinkler, CXM, Iron Mountain, and Seagate Technologies, STX. Bank of America likes Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSMC, Adobe, Shutterstock, and online advertising firm Appier Group, APPIF. Prior to ChatGPT's launch in November, IDC predicted that the controversial AI market will grow at a 37% compound annual growth rate from $3.3 billion in 2021 to just over $16 billion in 2026. Generative AI is expected to impact cybersecurity as well. Continue. We see generative AI becoming table stakes for most software companies. Evercore ISI analyst Mark Mahaney said in a report that This generally favors the bigger companies with deeper pockets and access to more data. In addition, Bank of America is bullish on AI and internet companies. The use of AI will be critical drivers of all things internet, including content relevance, ad performance, e-commerce conversion, marketplace efficiency, and even customer service, Bank of America analyst Justin Post said in a recent note to clients. So this is interesting because for customer service, I know that a lot of times when dealing with chatbots on websites, like if you call Comcast or whoever, one of the utility companies, and you're trying to talk to somebody on the chat, it's very clear that it's a bot. But what they're trying to do with artificial intelligence is to make it seem almost human, as if you are talking to a human when it comes to customer service, but you're actually in reality talking to a robot, an artificial intelligence behind that chat. Despite the banking crisis, venture capital is flowing to AI startups. Andreessen Horowitz led a $150 million funding round for Character.ai, which now has a valuation of over $1 billion. Meanwhile, AI startup Adept recently raised $350 million, also at a valuation of over $1 billion. Adept has studied how humans use computers, from browsing the internet to navigating a complex enterprise software tool, to build an AI model that can turn a text command into sets of actions. Continue. Federal Trade Commission Chair Lina Khan said on March 27th that her agency would protect AI startups from big tech companies aiming to block new entrants. At an antitrust conference, Khan said the FTC would ensure that startups can compete in the AI industry. The Biden administration is mulling new legislation to regulate AI, which that is one of the risks to AI. But there also needs to be some regulation because this can potentially turn into some sort of Terminator scenario. Nvidia chip makers, key players in AI race. AI usage is exploding in facial and voice recognition technology, medical diagnostics, algorithmic trading, and automated customer service bots. For many companies, gaining an edge with AI requires ongoing investments in compute, networking, and data center infrastructure. All AI software needs computing power to find patterns and make inferences from large quantities of data. And the race is built on AI chips for data centers. So obviously Nvidia, Intel is trying to catch up, but they're not there yet. So Nvidia is the leader when it comes to that. AMD is also a good one. And then there's chip startups Cerebras, Samba Nova, and Graphcore. They're all ramping up AI. So AI is the hot thing in the tech sector right now. Continue. And those are some of the stocks that are the biggest ones. Tech giants among the best artificial intelligence stocks. Tech giants are expanding AI initiatives. Also, cloud computing giants sell AI analytical services to business customers. So that would be Amazon, IBM, Google. AI tools are playing a big role in Facebook parent Meta Platforms' legacy business and new initiative. As it moves into the metaverse, Meta said it had built a new artificial intelligence supercomputer called the AI Research Supercluster. The Meta computer uses chips from Nvidia. Continue. Top AI stocks is a software market. We already talked about Adobe. Bank of America upgraded Palantir, PLTR, to buy, citing its AI prowess. Some analysts aren't sure Palantir will capitalize on the AI opportunity. Snowflake, SNOW, I know we've talked about that one before on here, and startups such as Databricks aim to shake up the database market with lightning-fast analysis of unstructured data gathered from sensors. One example would be streaming video. Databricks announced new contribution to multiple open source projects at a recent AI summit. Very interesting what's happening in the AI sector there, and all of that just... I mean, it was happening last year, but this year it all came to the forefront. Continue. IT services firms make acquisitions. Still, corporate adoption of AI technologies is nascent. The majority of organizations are still experimenting with AI technology. Said an Accenture study, only 12% are using AI tools at a maturity level that achieves a strong competitive advantage, according to Accenture. Excuse me. AI stocks to watch include information technology services firms such as IBM, Accenture, EPAM Systems. I would probably put SAP in there as well. Not every effort succeeds. IBM sold off Watson Health to private equity firm Francisco Partners. The deal reportedly came in above $1 billion, but IBM had invested much more in Watson. Despite the Watson setback, IBM continues to acquire AI startups. AIM has bought at least 5 artificial intelligence companies since mid-2020. Accenture is also a big buyer of AI startups. So those are a couple of companies there that you can take a look at. Continue. Microsoft could inflate Google's mobile search toll. Default status on mobile devices may be up for grabs in AI search war. So this is a big risk to Google, to Alphabet. Continue. Microsoft may or may not take much internet search market share from Google, but the cost of holding onto that lucrative business is heading higher regardless. This has been apparent since early February when Microsoft lifted the wraps on a new Bing search engine powered by generative artificial intelligence technology. Microsoft effectively declared its goal of family becoming a major player in the business that generates more than $224 billion a year in advertising revenue for Google. Now, this is something that I've noticed personally. I've switched over to Bing on most of my devices because it gives me, what I'm looking for is usually within the first 3 results. Whereas Google, a lot of times I'll have to go even to the second page to find an article that I'm looking for, to find something that I'm looking for. But Microsoft has they've really done a good job with that here recently. When Bing first started, it was horrible. Microsoft effectively declared its goal of finally becoming a major player in the business that generates more than $224 billion a year in advertising revenue for Google. Microsoft's threat became even more apparent over this last weekend when the New York Times reported that Samsung was considering replacing Google with Bing as the default search option on its mobile phones. Continue. This would obviously be good for Microsoft's stock as well. Samsung is the world's largest smartphone manufacturer by market share, typically accounting for more than 1/5 of phones sold per year globally, according to International Data Corp. Citing internal Google documents, the Times reported that Google's default position on Samsung phones drives about $3 billion in annual revenue, while about $20 billion comes from a similar deal with Apple that is also up for renewal this year. Shares of Google fell more than 3% on Monday morning. Continue. There are also a lot more search engines out there, and people are switching to some search engines that are more anonymous, so that is obviously taking a bite out of Google as well. Google has dominated the search market for 2 decades, and the hype over the ChatGPT generative AI technology that powers the new Bing hasn't made much of a dent yet. According to StatCounter, Bing's share of the global search market went from 2.18% in February to 2.88% in March. Paying mobile device makers to be the default option on their phones has been a controversial practice that has fueled some blowback from regulators towards Google, but even losing that position might not prove fatal. Mobile phone users in the European Union have had an option to pick search engines since early 2020. Still, Google can't afford many other problems in its core business. Global online advertising is still in a slump. Google is expected to report its second consecutive decline in advertising revenue for the first quarter and to show off a gain of less than 4% for the full year. So Google isn't the darling that it used to be. It's still a huge company. But if it falls behind on this artificial intelligence stuff, I don't know how well their stock would be doing here in the future. Continue. Continue. Bitcoin falls. The case for a big spike ahead. Let's see it. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies were sliding on Tuesday, continuing to pare gains after the latest leg of a rally that has seen digital assets soar higher in 23. Traders should expect more weakness before a rebound or even a sharp spike. The price of Bitcoin has fallen less than 1% over the past 24 hours to 29,850. This is a little, it's still up over 30 now, which is psychologically important, since that's where prices stood in June 22 before the sell-off in cryptos accelerated into a brutal bear market. Bitcoin is up 80% this year and has failed to consolidate above 30,000, let alone its recent peak near 31, and there are signs that some traders are taking profits at these elevated levels. Continue. Bitcoin's weakness today is generating downturns in our short-term indicators, supporting a deeper pullback in the coming days. They're saying right around 25.2, and then they would look for long-term resistance around 35.9. Continue. Continue. While no one should expect a one-to-one mirroring of the current drawdown to previous drawdowns, the resemblance to 2018 drawdown is staggering, Lund said. If history repeats, Bitcoin will peak around May 20th at 45,000. So that's what they're saying. We'll see if that's the case, if Bitcoin will peak there at around 45,000. If it does, might be time to get out there, but that's still a good upside from here, about 50%. A lot of that has recovered. A lot of those future of finance, cryptocurrencies, etc., have recovered here this year, which is good news because I'm invested in a couple of those. Let me take a look at a couple of stocks here for you today. So we already went over a lot of artificial intelligence, obviously Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc., Adobe, companies like that, IBM. But if you don't want to pick just a single one, here are some that you can take a look. There's the, I know this one was mentioned, Global X Robotics and Artificial Intelligence ETF, BOTZ, BOTZ. This is an ETF. The investment seeks to provide investment results that correspond generally to the price and yield performance of the index Global Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Thematic Index. And they've had a great run this year, so far up 24%. They do have a fairly large management fee at 0.68%. Some of their biggest holdings are Nvidia at 8.93%, Keyence, Intuitive Surgical, Fanuc, ABB, Yaskawa, I don't know what that is, SMC. So those are some of the top holdings in this one. There's obviously a lot of robotics as well, not just artificial intelligence. So that's BOTZ. That's one that you can take a look at. The other one that you can take a look at is Wisdom Tree Artificial Intelligence and Innovation Fund, WTAI. Now, obviously, all of these are fairly high risk, since AI is still in its infancy. WTAI, Wisdom Tree Artificial Intelligence Innovation Fund, which follows the Wisdom Tree Artificial Intelligence and Innovation Index. This one has a management fee of 0.45%. It has had year-to-date returns of around 23.81%. It does have a small dividend at 0.18%. Doesn't have a lot of assets in it, but some of the at $9 million. Some of the top 10 holdings for this one are some of the companies that we talked about today. Nvidia, C3 AI, All Chip Technologies, Lattice Semiconductor, Advanced Micro Devices, Taiwan Semiconductor. So this is a lot of semiconductor companies that are have allocations of more than 2% in this ETF. That's the Wisdom Tree Artificial Intelligence, and that's WTAI, and then we have BOTZ. Those are two of the ETFs that you can take a look at if you're interested in investing in artificial intelligence, but not have to pick just a single one. But if you do have to pick a single one, take a look at Microsoft, Google, Amazon, companies like that, Adobe. There's also some smaller companies. I want to say BBAI is one that's priced at around $3 that I saw this morning. I haven't really looked into it, but I think it's like Bear something, Black Bear AI or something like that. Take a look at that one. That might be another good one to look at. There's a couple of small companies that are into AI, but make sure that you do your research on them and that it's not some SPAC scam that we've seen over the past couple of years. Yes, it was. I actually bought some more CALM last year, last week, some Cal-Maine foods. Bots and WTAI. Take a look at that one. And that's it for today. Make sure that you tune in tonight for our Spider-thon at 8 p.m. that we have going on right now. What will happen to money in America, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. You can watch that live on Twitter, YouTube, Revival Today app. Make sure you download the app if you haven't downloaded it. We have Wednesday Marriage Conference. Make it out for that here at 107 Patton Drive at 7 p.m. Then on Friday, we have the Rain Women's Conference. Rain Ladies Night, Kentucky Derby themed. And Evangelist Jonathan is going to be in Wisconsin. Right? Wisconsin? Yes, Greendale, Wisconsin. The Way Church. That's April 21st through the 22nd at 7 p.m. If you'd like to invest in Revival Today, we'll be, as a way of saying thank you, I'll be giving away a book today for everybody who invests. It is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I just finished reading this one. Pretty good book. And so I'll be giving that away as a way of saying thank you for investing and standing with us. Here are the ways that you can do that. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, cryptocurrencies. You can also send a check to P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania 15329. And then don't forget to claim your offer, which is The Psychology of Money, and we'll send that to you. It's a very good book. I learned some things from it, and it goes a lot into the greed factor, which sometimes when my stock is soaring, those are things that I struggle with. I get greedy and then I lose money. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you share the broadcast with all your friends. TruthGPT and AI. We're going to get more into TruthGPT when Elon Musk posts about it, because it's an interesting concept that he was talking about. Go out there and make some money today, and I will see you all next week, Tuesday at 9 a.m. See ya.